All right, guys, so we are in the Bobcat, obviously, skid steer, and we're at the Sugar House. Got 3 cameras. I'm not sure if all 3 cameras are recording. Camera that I'm on, the controller's not working for, but I have a camera on the boom, which has already started recording, so we're good there. And then I have a camera set up where we're doing. So what we're doing at the Sugar House is it's been warm for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. It's been getting up to like 40. And first of all, if you like the video at all or like anything from my content, please like and subscribe. It takes like 30 seconds. You can subscribe and turn off the notifications so you don't have to be bugged, but you can check back in, keep up with updates when you want to. So when we put the addition on the Sugar House for last year, it was like, December and January when we did it, so it was cold, and the tanks were in there, but they hadn't been set like where they're supposed to be. And there's a big bank in there. So when the Sugar House was done, it was dug with, actually it was just done with a bulldozer, it wasn't done with excavator, so there was no wall, and we couldn't fill it in because we were worried about getting hydraulic pressure from the ground. When you get rainwater in the ground, then it contracts and expands, it could push on the wall. So we were worried about that. So we didn't want to fill it in, but now that that part is covered up and we get the water, we got a ditch roughed in around the outside and everything, and the water, we have one spot where there's water under there right now, and we're going to hopefully fix that part today too. But so we're going to fill in where the tanks are, so the big bank's going to be gone. And if I want to turn around and then go up the hill, so the big bank's going to be gone, and we're going to come up. You can see where I moved all this equipment, all this pipe and stuff. That, that wall there that I built with the logs, that's where the steps are going to be. And then probably next spring, summer, I'm not sure. Whenever we're probably going to buy the concrete fancy blocks and do them. So we're dealing with just a little bit of ice to try to get up this hill. And you're fine if you don't have to turn. So otherwise, that's when it starts to slide. So hopefully I can get up here and get turned and do this. So I'm going to fill this in so this stupid bank's not here anymore. You can see right there, so right in front of me, I don't know if you can see in the other camera or not. I think you probably can. So there's a water spot. That's where that plastic tank was sitting. So it's a low spot that the water's actually running in the building right here by this pole. But you got to remember, so back when we did this building, it was it snowed and iced and everything, and this was it was all frozen under the building when the building was started. So we had freezing and thawing happen under the building from snow and ice that was already froze before the building was even built. So actually last year at the end of the sap season in the spring, there was a lot of water under there because the ground was all thawing. So that's the project for today, just to try to get it filled in and get it where you can. I'd rather have just wash stone. This is what they call modified, so it's got some grit to it. I'd rather have just wash stone because it would drain a little better if you did get water under it. But this is what we have, and the pile's not frozen, so this is what we're going to use. So I don't know how long it's going to take to do it, but that's the project. So on Thursday, so today's Saturday, January 10th, on Thursday, when I came home from school, it was probably 40 degrees, and I grabbed a hold of those tanks with this skid steer. Actually behind the tanks, there was some dirt back there. It had never been leveled under there because the building was built. I just dug the holes and built the building. I didn't worry about leveling the dirt. So I had to level up some dirt behind the tanks to where I pull them out so that they would, I didn't want to drag them over a big dirt pile. So on Thursday I leveled that out, and then I grabbed a hold of the first tank and pulled it like nothing. I had to do a bunch of moving stuff, had to move electric wire and things like that too. And then I grabbed the other one and moved it. And I only need to move them, I moved them farther than I needed to, but I only needed to move them, far enough to get my skid steer in there with a bucket. And, the only thing I'm worried about when I do this is having a soft edge and tipping the skid steer, into the wall, into the sugar house, the wall. But I'm going to try to fill in by see right there, I'm sliding right towards my little wall. So I'm actually going to try to fill in by that first. I'm just going to try to work my way across there and hope for the best. And if I get to where, I can't, I'm not going to be able to do it, I'm not going to be able to finish it, then I'll stop. Every bit that I get in there and get level is going to be better than what it is now. And it's just, the problem with now is, so the gravel that's back there is creek gravel. So there's some big rocks, and I just left them there because we're going to cover them up eventually. So we just left them there, and so it's hard walking. And then if you get snow and ice, it was super hard walking. And now with the roof, we don't get the snow and the ice. We got to get the water out of there so it doesn't freeze, and we should be good to go. So probably the hardest part of this is going to be filling in right by this pole, and then just kind of easing back in there and making sure that you track over it and pack it. I do have a hand tamper, but I don't know. I might go get that, but I don't know if it would make much difference compared to the tracks. I think it's just a matter of you can drive over it and pack it if you're careful. But just enough ice that. So this was all ice right here. I'd say it's, I don't know if it's 90% gone, but it's a lot more gone than it was. Threw some salt. So some guy gave my dad some free salt, and it's actually not all of it. Well, some of it was rock salt, ice melt, and some of it wasn't. The salt, it's that, if you can see it once in a while on the camera, but it's big chunks of salt, kind of like, looks like table salt, but they're like styrofoam peanut size. So the only thing I did forget was I was gonna get a rake, because I'm gonna probably have to rake it around that pole. I don't want to get any closer than I have to. I do a little bit more throttle, go a little bit faster. So it looks like the camera under the roof there is recording, so it sees me come in a little bit. And both of these cameras are going, so we're good. Got my voice on this one. So that's what, got lucky. So it warmed up before, but I didn't get lucky at that time. I didn't have enough time to do all this. I got lucky this time that it actually warmed up and it stayed warm. And by the end of the day, hopefully most of this ice is going to be gone. And then we're going to have to figure out, so the water's running in right by this pole a little bit. So I'm hoping if I build up the gravel under the roof and we'll just come out by the pole, we'll move some of the other stuff and we'll get like a curb. It's not ideal, but I don't really know if I would like to cut a ditch, make a swale, whatever you want to call it. But I don't know if I can do that. It might be just frozen enough that that's going to be hard to do. So, I don't know if I can do that. So I might just have to make a curb using the gravel, which is no big deal. I just want to ease in here like that and hopefully keep packing it to my right and not hit anything. Not hitting anything is more important. like to be able to. So obviously it's high, right? So that's good. That's fine though. I mean, so I have a mark on my pole I have to get out and look at after a little bit here. That's where the ground level is supposed to be. And looking at the pole from here, I think it's must be better marked on the other side. I thought I had it marked all the way around, but I don't see it. So, and around the pole, I mean, that we're just gonna. All right, guys, we're back. So SD card actually died in the camera that was on me, so I went and got a camera, but I went and got an SD card, but I did a little bit of more work before I did that, and it's going way better than, I mean, this is going real smooth. I wouldn't say way better than expected, but it's going better than expected for sure. So I'm about, I don't know, maybe halfway done. I had to go up to the house to get the SD card, and my mom asked me to put wood in the furnace, so I did that. And I'm back down, and I actually managed to find a rake real quick. So I'm back down here, and I'm gonna have to, I forgot one thing. I got the electric line to cover up. I'm just gonna throw a piece of that insulation on it and cover it up. So I was thinking maybe the gravel would pack on the insulation, and then if I wanted to pull the electric line, I'd like to pull it out and do something differently with it. But I didn't think about that until the other day, and I gotta get this done while the weather's warm. So I don't want to go get some kind of service box or something, I don't know, something to put the electric line out on the outside, and then just run service cable from there in. So that would require to pull the electric line out of the sugar house, and I don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to, I don't know if I'll use my, I think the camera will still record. I'm going to just jump on there and grab a piece of insulation. So my idea was that the gravel would pack down on the insulation, and then if I unhook the wire, I might, because it's only going to be about 10, maybe not even 10 feet, I might be able to unhook the wire and yank it out from underneath the insulation as long as the gravel isn't packed around the wire. That's kind of the idea. So I just have a piece of foam insulation, which will probably break, but just going to cover this wire up. So I want to pull the wire out eventually, this black one. This is the main wire running the sugar house. I just don't want the gravel to dig into it at all either. So the idea is just to kind of do that, and we'll make it so it sits level a little bit, and I guess we use a hoe. Try to thought I set the hoe right there. Try to make it so it'll sit, keep the gravel from packing on the wire itself. I mean, it's actually the wire is able to be direct buried or in conduit, either way. If you know anything about that, it just matters on temperature, which most do-it-yourselfers like me that are doing something like this, we don't care about temperature as far as how hot the wire is going to get when it's conducting electric, but it would be a concern for somebody else, I guess. So we're just gonna make this so that insulation will sit in there. And there's one of my Crit Gravel rocks. And I'm just trying to clump there, straighten it out a little bit, You know, I don't want to have it be crooked. But the idea is just to set this on there. About like that. And then, you know, I can drive over it. It'll break, obviously, but the pieces will be there. Worst case scenario, what is it? The worst case scenario is it doesn't work quite as good as I think it's going to, and I end up have to dig the wire out. Well, I know where it is. It's right underneath the other one, so it's not a huge deal. So the other thing we have right now is I'm running a couple inches high, which is not a big deal, but I don't want to really come back towards the tank much more. So I think, and unfortunately, grading this off might be the most challenging part of the whole thing to get it level, but we're going to try it. So now at least I can drive over it. The wire's back here, and I'll be able to fill in, you know, way over there if I want to. I got a wire to move right there. This is a wire that runs the shed on the other side. Get that picked up. And you gotta pick this one back up. So I think that'll work. I was trying to figure out, like, build some kind of wooden bridge and make it so then you take it apart and take the top off, pull the wire out, and then fill it in. And it's like, you know what? That's not what I want to do. So it'll work. And I don't know, you know, it's like, well, if I'm going to buy wire, so eventually we're going to run a new electric service down here. Then the new electric service would be, it's slated to be 400 amps, because if we keep expanding, which we probably will, you know, the RO itself is 120 amps, I think. That's a lot of power on a 200 amp service. Keep expanding, the next RO, you know, it's going to be bigger. You know, you figure, you know, twice as big is twice as much power. So that's where you get into issues with that. You know, it's like, well, we'll just see. So, but they bid the 400 amp service at $9,600 or something like that. I mean, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. So obviously we have not done that. I mean, that's, you know, that's pretty much an entire season production just about. So we haven't done that. And I don't know, did I just bump that insulation? I don't know if I did or not. Looks like it. Maybe not. I just want to cover it up so it stays. So then we'll get another load and we'll dump on the other side of it, and then we'll try to grade this off a little bit without digging into that blue pipe. That's got the wire. That's an umbilical cord that runs from the sugar house to the shed. And that's running 50 or 60 amps. I can't remember what it runs. And I don't really want to, I don't want to mess with that right now either. That one I'm going to eventually take out. Well, I can't take it out because, well, I could take it out, but it doesn't do me any good to take it out because it's not long enough. I want to take it out and run it through the rafters, but I need longer wire to do that, and that's another thing that I don't want to mess with right now. And it's buried in the pipe. I mean, it's fine. You could crush that pipe and it's not gonna, and the wires are insulated inside it. Is it conduit? No. It works fine. It's not gonna get that, you know, it works fine. It's a do-it-yourselfer, right? You don't always do everything. Might not do everything up to whatever specifications or whatever, but it's done safely. You know, it's in a piece of pipe. So, and it's both ends are up. I mean, there's not going to get moisture in it, and that pipe isn't going to crack. You know, it's going to it might crush and press against the wire or whatever, but it's not going to crack. So that's another one that we don't want to mess with right now. So we're just going to get this gravel in there, and it's going real well, like I said. So I'm happy with it so far. I'm running high. The only part I don't know about that is if I'm going to be able to grade it off how I want it. You know, I hope so. It does make it a little bit challenging being so close to the building, because I'm actually coming in at an angle, and I don't really want to turn. I really don't want to go square with the building if I don't have to, because I don't want to get my track, because that's when you adjust your track just a little bit and then you're into the building, because you can't. I don't want to come in any closer than I am right now to the building. So try not to rip any wires out, but I can't see where I'm dumping until I get up so high, you know. And I think that's going to work good. So then we'll put another one right there, or two, and then we'll try to grade it off a little bit. I might just end up doing it by hand. It's not that big an area. Got a hole to fill in, so I'll probably do one before, one after, and then another one before. And I mean, I've about 4 more buckets, and I've got the tanks covered, and then I can reach across the other side and try to do that a little bit. I am so happy. Like, you guys have no idea. Like, this is huge. I am thrilled to get this done. I have been dealing with that uneven ground and the creek gravel and the snow and the ice in there for so long. Eventually, I would like to put a door in so you could go in the other sugar house, walk right past the evaporator and come out right between those 2 tanks. And then next thing to do is the steps up to the deck. And then, so you just go out there, up a couple steps in the sugar house, come out between the tanks, turn right, go up steps, and you're up on the deck to the head tank, and you didn't even have to go outside. The idea was to be able to go all the way to the shed without going outside. The shed didn't fit between the poles like I thought it would. I didn't measure. I all I had to do is measure a little bit, and I could have put the pole differently, but I didn't do that. And so the shed actually is like 8 inches too big to fit between the poles. The shed was supposed to go between the poles and then actually get drugged so the front of the shed would be outside of the building instead of the whole thing being inside the building, which isn't a huge deal, but obviously it takes up space within the building. But you know, it's not a huge deal. I think I'm going to end up grading this up by hand. So I got a hole to fill in there. I might do that right. Well, it's not too bad actually. It's high over here, but maybe the wall. As I'm looking at it from here, I don't know if you can see or not, but in front of the tank, there's about 2 feet of dirt that was relatively level before. I'm a little bit high right there, but the rest of it from there, I mean, so maybe I'll just end up having to be a little bit lower over here or raising my wall a little bit. I'd rather have it, I mean, it looks good. Looks real good. So I guess I'm going to put a scoop there and try to fill that one hole in a little bit. And then I'll rake it a little bit and see. There's a screw in that pole. That's where level was. Now that was and that's where level was. That was where level was when I started the building. That was the level line that I used to get the poles all to be the same height. I dug the holes, poured the pads, and then cut the poles to fit the pad to so the top would be the right height. That's how I did it. Because I'm like, I am not climbing a ladder and trying to cut poles all off level with each other. So I did it the opposite, and it worked out perfect. I actually ended up, I had a formula that I did real quick, and I just subtracted, whatever, and because the holes weren't all the same depth because the ground was so much different. So I got the first one done, and then from there I had to either add or subtract. So some of the poles are taller than the first one, some of them are shorter than the first one. And that's some of the math that kids are like, when are you ever going to use math? It worked out great. I had never done anything like that project before. So I'm going to back up a little bit here. And I'm gonna level that off. Well, I'm gonna fill in that hole I got. Well, I don't know, maybe I push it off a little bit. Guess the hole's not that big now. So I mean, this is just awesome. So that's how the level line that this was set up at, is not, that was not set in stone. That was not like, hey, that's the level line it's got to end up at. So if I end up a little bit higher, it's not bad. I just wanted to try to be level. I am going to try to tilt the tanks forward towards the sugar house a little bit. I watched the video. Glenn Goodrich did that. 1 inch every 8 feet. So I got to do 2 inches. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but those tanks are a pain in the butt to get clean. Like super clean. And you think, oh, I'm going to open the valve up and the tank's going to drain. No, the tank does not drain very well at all either. So having them tilt forward, going to lose some storage space, right? That looks pretty darn good. Having them tilt forward, you lose some storage space, but they're going to drain better and they're going to clean better. 2 inches, I mean, that's not much. So the only thing that does for me, and it's not a problem. I wish it was a problem more, but it changes the overflow because my overflow. And that's, I don't know, I had to think about it a little bit because that might be one reason to not do it, but as my overflow for my tanks, they can be plumbed together in the overflow, and I believe they're both in the back. So if I lean the tanks forward, they could potentially run over the front before the overflow. Maybe, I'm not sure, because the overflow is down a little bit, so it still might work. And I did have an idea where, if you really wanted to, you could probably try to make a curb. You could probably take some, I don't know, you could almost do coil stock or something and make a curb on the front to stop it from running over before the overflow. But they charge you, they'll put overflows in for you, but they charge for every one of them. So like if you're saying, I want one on every corner of the tank, they're like $200 a corner to do that. And they want you to order, they usually want you to order it that way. First tank, they were more specific about the way I ordered it than the second one. Try not to get the camera. Close to the camera. So I got to take that board off the deck right there, and I got to move this wire up a little bit. But this, I mean, I am stoked. Stoked. It's like perfect amount of room. I mean, it could be a little bit more roomy. I would be a little bit more, but there's enough room to get in there to do it. That's awesome. I'm super happy about this project. And I'm going to run it over this wire, but all I did was I had to get the wire buried. I don't know if that video is going to show or not, but I moved this blue wire over, and I buried it. Well, this is packing like crazy. That's like concrete. That's awesome. I had to move it over so when I move the tank forward, this corner won't be in the way. It's packing really hard. So maybe that's going to be the level. Maybe where the track is going to be the level. So this wire going up to that outdoor light, maybe I hook it somewhere. And I actually have to move that light. It's not quite what I wanted. I left the wire long on purpose. I want to move the light up and over just a little bit, and then I want to get another one. It's not quite as bright as I would like it to be. But this, boy, it's packing. I'm like, wow. Keep driving on it, I might not be able to, I think I might take that track as my level mark. Because I'm not going to be able to rake that track if I keep driving on the same spot. I like that a lot. That looks really nice. Looks pretty level. You know, if you're going to be able to level it, I don't know. Does it matter? Probably not. So the idea is put the tanks, they're going to be sitting, when they're all done, they're going to be sitting on 4x4s. And then, of course, leaning forward. So it's another I mean, I could boom forward and call it good right now. I'd be way happier than the way it was. One clump there. I'm just going to try to keep the same. I can see the blocks. On the wall. I like that a lot. To me, that looks, so it's a little low. Right there, I can see the blocks. So, I mean, that's not super low. You can see right here. I can see the line. It's like right on the line. And over here, I got about an inch or two. So, looks pretty darn good. Got it way back in here past the tanks pretty much. So, just gonna rake this down here. So, by that way, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do this part. Or if I want to raise the tank up. Basically, I have the electric line to deal with, which is fine. I come in here, I could miss that. So I think I can scrape it off a little bit. Try to fill this in a little bit. Obviously, I would like to try to do as little manual labor as possible. All this board is on there. Got a screw. All right, cool. So I'll take this board down so I can fill in there. I'm going to be able to fill in quite far, so that's awesome. And then we'll have to kind of grade it and kind of guess on the grade a little bit. So I was going to try to get this picked up better. Maybe I should just do that. Set it up here. That's my tank. Oh, shoot. Oh, all right. It wasn't supposed to come out of there, but it did. So I might have to retrim that. I'd like to have this longer screw would be nice. But I guess that'll work. All right, get this board off here if I can reach. Tank sensor, that one just has the wires that clip into the things. First I thought I pulled the plug off of it, but that would be a minor fix anyway. So there's enough, certainly have enough extra cord to not have to worry about it. So let's see, maybe I'll have to move this camera a little bit. Something to set it on would be nice. A box of, oh, there's a bucket. That'll work. Move the camera a little bit so it don't get knocked over. This one's probably in the dark, but anyway, move it down here or something. You know, people don't realize when you're doing a video sometimes all the stuff that you have to do a video, right? I mean, it's a lot more work than people think. That's why I say, you know, if you checked it out and you watched it, hit the like button, man. There's a lot of work goes into it. Maybe you're not interested in everything that I do. Maybe you're not interested in anything I do, but if you watched a little bit of it, just hit the like button. I like every video I watch. Sometimes I watch videos that aren't quite what I expected or whatever, but I'll like it for them. All right, try to push that off, and see, I really would like to start right here by this pipe. It just looks high, but not bad. The tracks are part of the problem. It's really digging in, which is nice because it's packing. I mean, it is solid. I'm just going to push it off like this, at least break it up. I like it like that a lot. I don't want to have to dig, I don't want to have to dig the old dirt that's under here up. It's a lot. Just going that far. Look how much I'm getting. It's impressive. Hopefully it's close to being level. Oops, what was that? Oh, the hose. Well, that'll scare you. Piece of pipe. Sound like a tree fell on me. This is awesome. I am stoked. A little bit closer to that tank than I want to be. But I don't know if that's level or not. Maybe it's not. Maybe back here by this tank it was not as unlevel. Oh, there's that pipe again. To me that looks really good. I did scrape some. I was gonna scrape some of them bigger ones out of the way first. I forgot about that. Oh, that looks great. That is real nice. So I want to go and see if we can do just a little bit more. I got a little bit of that insulation. I forgot about that. Really wasn't that far under right there. Let's see if we can scrape this off a little bit. Call that good. So then it looks like it's dropping off just a little bit right here. But I can't tell for sure. But so I'd like to get about 2-3 scoops under that deck if I could. Even if I have to rake it in there by hand. So I could almost reach in from the other side and finish it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be today. But because if I get this done and I have the stairs right here where I'm sitting, I won't have to walk out there on that crappy ground. So it won't matter. Looks real good. I'm happy. Real happy. So I guess I'll rake it off. And like I said, the thing is where the tanks are sitting right now, it might not be level. They're going to be put up on 4x4s. They're not going to be level anyway, but the 4x4s are going to. So I mean, it looks like it's relatively level underneath them. So I'm not too worried about it. But this here is, I mean, it's pretty close. Have a low spot where you're tracking. I mean, how are you going to fix that? I can't do much about that because I don't want to get closer to the building. I don't want to put my track right over there. You know, I can't. That doesn't make sense to even try it. So looks pretty good. So a little bit. So now if I work this line, that's probably what I want to do, is just kind of I don't know whether I want to raise the whole thing up right here a little bit, or call it good and just pull them forward. I think maybe I'll raise the whole thing up level with where I'm doing right now. Call it good. Basically, just filling in the tracks. I'm gonna have a level somewhere. I'm not sure it's worth, you know, I could get a big board and I could put the level on a board and do that. So that's actually about 2 inches low. So that's actually probably what I want to do, is carry carry this line. Oh, look at that, how level that is. So it's right, almost right on. So that's actually level. So if I fill in this just a little bit and then work it, that'll be good. I can see it's a little low up against the wall right there. But it, as far as with the line, looks pretty good. So then it's low where my tracks were. So that's actually pretty good. I like it. And I think about the tanks, I was gonna go 4 feet, but so the tank's gonna be back, I think maybe 5 feet. Probably about almost, probably 9 or 10 right there. So I think we'll, I just gotta get it like I gotta get a spot. I'd say this corner. If I level it with this corner, that's pretty good. Is it gonna be perfect? No, it's not. The only way to get it perfect would be to pour concrete. So it's low over here, that's good. So I think what I wanna do is dump some right where I'm sitting and just work it this way. So I think I want to dump some over here, get this filled in, and then we'll probably finish it by hand. Get this all filled in how I want over here, and we'll fill this all in by hand. Check that out. And because I think I'd be able to rake right where I'm standing, which you might not be able to see me, but you might be able to rake all the way back here. Which isn't bad. Get my... Alright, that looks good, guys. So we'll leave the rake right here, and we'll move this wire up so it doesn't get buried. Maybe. This will put a screw in the wall and hold it up there. So I think it's low right here. Drops off, which is fine. No big deal. We'll jump a bunch over here, raise it up, and then we'll dump some and we'll level it coming this way by hand. I think that's going to be fine. This wire up out of the way. There we go. Of course, right in the way of the camera, but there we go. All right, so we'll get this filled in right over there. I think we're going to be able to get quite a bit, about half of this right here by the camera done without coming around. And then the idea would be to go around the other side and reach in and eventually reach in. But I wanted to get the wall over there too. So I'm happy with this. Well, I'm not afraid to, I mean, basically, by myself, you know, without somebody else eyeing it or using a transit or something, I'm not going to be able to level it by myself in the machine. If I can get it close, I'm not afraid to do a little bit of raking. I mean, it's easy. It seemed like it's raking pretty easy. So anyway, if you stayed this long, thank you. I think we will turn. Get a scoop or two, dump in there. Try to get as much underneath that deck as I can. And we'll level it up. Level it up and call it good. Really close. And I think probably, I was gonna do like 4 feet, but I think probably 5 feet from the building is good. 4 feet's, I don't know. I can't think of what you would take through there, but well, might get a mini skid, right? I watched a lot of videos on mini. They are neat, but holy crap, are they expensive? They're well, it's a new Bobcat made to go through 36-inch opening, which is, sounds awesome, but it's like $70,000 or more. It's a lot of money for a mini skid. And then I always think about, well, you're standing on it, you can't, height-wise, you can't go in much lower. I'm 6 foot tall. If I stand on it, I'm probably 8 foot tall. So height-wise, you can't go through much lower, you know. But people like them for backyard gates and things, which is cool. I get it. They have their niche, you know. But I might have to get out and move that board. And I'll tell you what, I would not have wanted to do this project with my New Holland. And this thing is coming in here. It's doing a good job packing its way in here. Move that board. Well, anyway, I'll call that a video. I appreciate you watching, appreciate you checking in. Gonna be a lot of things happening. I know I haven't done a video in a while. I've been doing a lot of projects that have just been like, you know, hour and a half, 2 hours after school, and things not being like as planned out as this. You know, you got to kind of have something planned out if you're going to do a video. But I appreciate you watching. If you stayed in this long, there's going to be definitely some videos coming up. We're gearing up for sap season. It's warm right now. It's too warm to tap right now because we get like, I don't know, two days next week are going to be close to 50. I don't want 50-degree weather in January unless I'm making syrup and I'm prepared to make syrup. I'm not quite there yet. I'm getting there. I'm close. I don't want 50-degree or plus weather. I don't want to have to worry about bacteria, even though it might not be an issue, but that's something you have to think about when you tap early, is your processing time and things like that, and what it could do to the tubing. So right now we're planning on tapping. I'm planning on starting tapping next week when the temperatures drop down below 30 again consistently, and hoping to have everything in and tapped by February 1st. And you know, I really want to start looking for leaks. The quicker you turn the pump on, the quicker you can look for leaks. So anyway, appreciate it. Thanks for checking in. Please like and subscribe the video, and stay tuned for more from Triple D Farms, Triple D Maple, and Triple D Cabins. I'm Jared. Have a great day.